Hi guys, Storm here with another video. So I wanted to let you know, this is a perfect example of where Duolingo doesn't follow its own rules, as well as shortcuts. So for example, if you're ever doing certain words like ocha, ocha means green tea, but it also just means tea, or you could say it shortened, maybe it only means green tea, but you could say it shortened as tea, as long as the point is given across, you don't need to be specific as green tea. So when it says ocha, especially for timed events, only put tea, so you're savoring every second you can. Similarly, what I'll do, and even I don't even care if I get the wrong answer, because I like to figure out how the game's mechanics work, and I like to understand how words work. While it may not be proper, it's essentially slang. If it's for timed events, where it actually makes sense to be quicker about it, and which is not lazy in this case. You're doing it to just because it's a time event, it's competitive. Slang outside of that is just lazy and lesser. There's no excuse for being lazy. There's nothing competitive about speaking slang or jive or anything else, So in this case, there is san, and san is meaning Mr. or Mrs. And is Mr., since there's not Mrs., it only gives you the option. Sometimes they'll have Mr. and Mrs., and either is correct in this case, since you have nothing else to go off except words and no images. But this is a perfect example of, is Mr. Tanaka cool, is what it's asking, since this is san, and I did not put san into the translation of English, yet it still accepted it. So it's weird, because other times where it says san, if I don't put Mr., it won't accept it. Now, this is not the same exact thing as when it does, okay, ocha, you don't need to put green tea. I can 100% of the time never use the word green tea again and only put tea, and it will 100% of the time follow that rule. Unfortunately, it picks and chooses ones it wants to follow certain rules. So, for example, when it says san, half the time I cannot put Mr. or Mrs., and other half the time it's required to put Mr. or Mrs. And it doesn't tell you, it doesn't discriminate or specify when and where, not including san, especially for a timed trial, is or isn't allowed. You're just going to have to get lucky, and if you're willing to take that risk to not get 100%, you just have to, there's no way to figure it out. You're just, the game's inconsistent. It's like they don't even understand their own language, the makers of this game, because at least, you could say, well, in this case, you can always use Mr. and Mrs., and this other, and you have to, it's required. In this other case, you don't. If there was a rule set, that's fine. But they don't even teach you that. There's a lot of things they just leave out, and it's just up in the air, and it's all implied, or it's up to your interpretation. And it's frustrating that it's left that way, because you're half of learning a language is to understand why what you're being said is how it's being said, so you can understand how to speak properly, so you can understand what's being said in greater context, because you have to understand all other languages are interpreted. It's all a guessing game. English is the only proper language where everything is laid bare at your feet, and very specific, very intentional. So there's no miscommunication. We're all very direct. But in other languages, that can be considered as rude. So in Japan, it's all very I don't want to say pansy, but they're all very about hyper about being respectful. Like, respect is everything, even if it means putting yourself below other people's feet. At times, you could be in a gas station, and you're held to the highest regard because the customer is always right. They take customer is always right to a whole new level. It's insane. Like, there was a report on one of these channels. I think it was Aki Dearest. I don't know if that's the right one. It could have been that one. Pretty sure it was, but don't quote me. Where a customer can literally call, and I think it was some senile old dude that kept calling confused, and he did it over 1,000 times before they finally arrested him. That's how insane the customer service is over there. They consider you sama, so that's what they're taught to say anyway. So it's crazy. But moving right along, it's weird how san is only sometimes required and other times it's not. So just keeping that in mind, guys. Until next time, guys. Peace.